This video is on standard number 1, which is all about content knowledge. While taking courses here at Boise State through the MET program, I have gained such a larger understanding of what technology is and how to better utilize it in my classroom. Before I started this program, I really thought of technology as being something cool and something fun and something that kids would like, but now I have such a greater understanding of what that really means, and I would like to share some of the artifacts that I've chosen for my portfolio that meet this standard. One of the classes that had a huge impact in my content knowledge area was EdTech 502. Prior to taking that class, I had never coded. So taking that class was so eye-opening for me to learn how to HTML code. And this is just one of the assignments that was done for that class, and that was so huge for me. And this is just one example of one of the assignments we did. As you can see here, there's links where students can take them to these websites, and there's an assignment here for them to complete. Some of the other projects I did throughout the EdTech program that really opened my eyes was EdTech 512, where I created a ELA credit recovery class. And the idea behind this was I had taught summer school and my district doesn't offer summer school, and I just thought that was a need. And so I created this course here where students who had failed a course could then come in here and be able to recover their credit so they could move on to the 8th grade for an ELA class. And here I put in all kinds of things students would need to do. There's level up tutorials, there's discussion boards, there's PowerPoints they can view. These are videos. This is how to do a constructed response. There's resources here for students, so they would have some resources available to them, especially when we're talking about a summer school student who probably needs some remediation. Another one assignment I had done that, was in EdTech 501, where I created this lesson plan for literature circles about survival books, and students would be able to have a role, and they also in the literature circles, and they also would have some choice in what they were working on, and then they also have a self-assessment form here that they would fill out at the end of the project-based learning survival. Like I said before, this is just a few of the artifacts I've included on the portfolio for content knowledge, which is standard 1. Standard 2 is all about content pedagogy. And throughout this MET process, I have been able to change the way I'm delivering information to students and have done a lot with content creation. While in EdTech 502, I was able to use my knowledge of HTML and CSS to create some student-centered activities. This one here was a virtual field trip where students were able to visit different places around Asia, Monsoon Asia, and would learn about them, and then when they were done would be able to answer questions on a Google form. Another thing I did in that class was also to do a jigsaw where students were able to be broken into groups, as you can see here, and will become experts on their subject and then be able to share what they have learned, which was able to help students with student engagement. In EdTech 501, I created a different way to do current events in my classroom. Previous to this, current events were not working very well, and I needed another way to have students do it. So what I did was move all of my current events onto discussion boards, which help with student engagement and community building. Another artifact I have here is a Schoology course that I built for my social studies classes. Within this course, students would have opportunities to post on discussion boards, find their assignments, create things, take their tests, and so on and so forth. Also they'd have some opportunities for creating different items as well. This next item I have is I took some information from when we were doing a study on Greek mythology and put it on a voice thread so students could individually go through and be able to take care of the items of their assignments as they needed to at their own speed. And when they were done, they would then come to a Google form and fill that out and have all of their information all together. All of these things together have been able to increase student engagement. All of these artifacts are just a small portion of what I've done throughout this MET process, where my goal is to increase both differentiation, student engagement, and evaluation. This video is on content area number 3, which is learning environments. And throughout my 2.5-year journey through the MET program at Boise State University, I have designed and created quite a few different things using different kinds of learning environments, and I wanted to share that with you here today. In EdTech 503, I worked on a project where I created a learning environment to train new employees at a dance studio with the Office Manager software. This was a really great experience, and I'm really glad I got to do that because it was something that was out of the classroom and in a work setting instead. Some of the other things I created with this was some tools to gain information from people. I created videos for those adult learners to use. Then moving on down into other classes I took while at Boise State, I also took EdTech 521, where I created an interview tool to get to know my students at the beginning of the year. And this is really great in the fact that I could really get some really great information from students before the year has even begun. Then in EdTech 523, I built a Schoology course for social studies for a blended class to be used where students would be at school and at online. And I was able to create content and put it on Schoology, and I'm really loving how Schoology works, especially since I work in a district that is a Schoology district. And it's allowed me to become almost like a Schoology expert in my building. I was able to put content on here. As you can see, all the units are on here, and then all the information for students are within the units. They have different assessments, and they have both performance tasks and traditional summative informative assessments. These are just a few artifacts from standard number 3, learning environments. AECT standard number 4 deals with professional knowledge and skills, which has to do with collaboration, leadership, and evaluation. One of the strongest impacts in my professional life through this MET process has been the focus on collaboration. Here are some artifacts that showcase this standard. Throughout this MET process, I was able to learn to have students collaborate and then also myself be able to collaborate with other colleagues. This first example I have here is a collaborative unit where myself and some other English language arts teachers work together on creating a student environment. The next artifact I have here is my reflection journal from when I took practicum last semester. I was able to work with a teacher from IDLA, and we worked together to teach an online class. The next artifact goes with it. This was my practicum final report about how practicum went, how it worked, what I did, and examples of student engagement, all kinds of different things. And then the last item I have here is the evaluation report. I include this as an artifact to show my leadership skills. After completing this evaluation of our school's LMS, Schoology, I was able to work with both the superintendent and the curriculum director to help with building bridges with Schoology in our classrooms. This was standard number 4, candidates design, develop, implement, and evaluate technology-rich learning environments within a supportive community of practice. AECT standard number 5 deals with research. Throughout this MET process, I have been able to research different learning theories and best practices in which to use in my classroom. In this video, I will share some artifacts that I have made through the MET process and how it has affected my professional practice. The first artifact I would like to share with you is from EdTech 501, where at the end of the semester we were to make a graphic representation of what is educational technology. And this was at the end of the semester of the first class in the EdTech program. The next artifact I'd like to share with you also comes from EdTech 401. This was the first time I had ever written a paper in APA style, so I'd like to see that there's been a lot of growth from there until now. This next artifact comes from Instructional Design EdTech 503, where I had all of these research questions that needed to be addressed within this instructional project. This here is the project proposal for EdTech 504 to use all the information that we had learned in that class and to write a synthesis paper. One of the items I was able to do a lot of research on throughout the MET process was Genius Hour. I have now implemented Genius Hour into my 7th grade English Language Arts classroom, where students are able to work on passion projects. And what I share with you here is just their project proposal for what they would do for their Genius Hour project. Much of what I've been able to research throughout this MET process, I have been able to directly translate into my professional practice. Thank you for watching.